The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by Cut. Cut is the peer-to-peer social betting platform that's US-based and available in 40 states. Head to KUTT.com, that's cut.com, and use promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. We're also brought to you by the SGPN merch store. Store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com is that link, and 15% off everything in the merch store when you use promo code PLAYOFFS. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the WNBA. Whoa, not WNBA. I'm a little bit excited. I saw Nneka Ogwumike say that she was interested in coming to the New York Liberty. It's got me talking about the WNBA. Welcome into the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No, me, no the voice, no the guy. It's me, really real, villain real, Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. Miami. What a cash cow. Lose outright as 11.5-point favorites at home. That's like the most Miami stat of all time. That's the most Miami game line of all time. Oh, you're 11.5-point favorites at the crib? Yeah, you're going to lose outright. Doesn't matter. Jacob Gilliard starting? Nah, no problem. You're going to lose outright. Shout out to the chat. Chat's booming. See Icy McSpicy in there earlier. Martin Rodriguez, Trevor Tillis, Jared, Lake Show, Will, Adam. Everybody's booming. Anthony. Yes, everybody's in here today. Josh. Got a lot going on in the chat. Make sure you check that out. YouTube.com/NBA Gambling Podcast and check that chat feature out. Make sure you give us a like on YouTube. We got Scott Studio Reichel here. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Hey, doing well. Had a good episode yesterday. Ended up cashing the lock. Gave out a plus money lock, actually, with Middleton under 5.5 assists. Wasn't easy. He had 5, but he ended up not having one for about the last 8 minutes or so as he finished with 5. The dog was close. I went for the long shot dog there. Went for Şengün triple-double at 28-1, and he finished 2 assists short. So he gave it a good run. Unfortunately, he had 6 and 6 at halftime, and then the assists just died after that. But point is, Şengün didn't get there. Did mention the other potential dog, which was taking both Phoenix and Dallas to trail by 10 and win the game. And then Phoenix, of course, goes down 15 immediately, and then they win the game by basically 30. So that worked out well for me. Can't complain, though. Good episode, and let's keep it rolling.
Oh, man. I mean,
is Phoenix an autoplay now down like 10-15? It feels like it because they just dominate every time they're down double digits.
Which you got to give credit to Frank Vogel and that group for being able to, like, that was really, really early. I think Luka had 17 and like 3 or 4 threes early in that second quarter. Like, he was killing them, and they just continuously find ways to. The thought on this Sun team has changed over the past few weeks. I'll say that much. The thoughts of this team has changed over the past few weeks because I've seen them be able to battle back from being down multiple times. And once they find a way to play 4 quarters of good basketball and add a little bit more defense to the repertoire, oh, they're going to be really, really good, man.
That's kind of the problem that I have, though, is that, yes, they show a lot of mental toughness, which is definitely a good sign, but you can't keep constantly falling behind 15 points. I mean, whether it was Sacramento, whether it was Chicago, whether it was Dallas last night, they've been great coming back and not folding, but it's definitely an issue when you're constantly down double digits immediately in games, especially against weaker competition. So we'll see what happens moving forward.
The Milwaukee Bucks, they tried to blow it at one point.
They did.
But it worked out. I think it worked out.
Giannis, did you see the stat padding triple-double assist? I don't know if you call it that or not. Did you see that?
I didn't catch it, but
they were up by 10 with, I want to say, a minute and a half to go. Cleveland's about to pull the starters. Game's over. They're up like, I don't know, 10 or 12 with a minute 30 to go. There's like 20 on the shot clock, so they're just draining clock. Giannis kicks it to a shooter who's about to drain like some extra time because why would you shoot? And Giannis starts yelling at him, "Shoot it!" And then he shot the ball and went in. And then he got his triple-double and he left. So that's how
No,
that
but
went.
we
Giannis
know
passed the
Giannis
ball
is a
and then
stat
yelled,
pattern.
"Shoot it." And
We
that's
know
how he got
Giannis
the
is a stat
triple-double.
pattern.
So
We've seen that
whatever.
before.
I know, but I respect the effort. He just passed it and he full-on yelled at him, "Shoot the ball!" And then he shot it and he got the triple-double. So
It's so funny that you laugh at Giannis for it, but it's a lot of people that would destroy LeBron if he ever did that. Oh, they would destroy LeBron if he ever did that. But Giannis, he's a perfectly fine stat pattern. Everybody's cool with it. It doesn't matter when it's Giannis. All right, let me see here what we got on the 7-game slate today. Let's go ahead and kick things off here. The Washington Wizards on a back-to-back. Depending on where you got that line, they covered. Wizards actually been covering a lot of games, Scott. I don't think we talked about that when
they don't
we
win
talked
many,
about the breakdown.
they've been a bit feisty on the point spread at least.
I think like I just wouldn't lay too big of a number. Like they covered against Denver. Some people didn't get the cover. Like if you were early to the overnight was 10.5. By the time we did the show, I think it was it was like 11.5. Then it went down to 11 after we recorded, and it kind of hung around 11. So some people pushed, some people won, some people lost. But nonetheless, Wizards team is playing competitive basketball. I don't think they've lost a game recently over 12 points. I think that's the most that they've lost by. But now they get this Utah Jazz team coming in, opened up as -5.5 point favorites, currently -7.5. Total is sitting here at 245.5. Injury report, and we have for the Utah Jazz nothing to report. For the Washington Wizards, it looks like Isaiah Livers is the only thing that is popping up right now. But again, remember they were on a back-to-back before. Wizards on no rest, ATS are sitting at where are you at? 3-4 in the season, 42.9%. Scott laying 7.5 with the Jazz on the road here.
Well, I do want to ask you, how much do you believe in the new coach bump? Because Unseld got fired.
Is it really a new coach? Did he get fired or did he get
fired this
promoted?
Or sorry, he's no longer on the sideline. Yes, you might be right. Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think that's a firing. That's the Brad Stevens. We like you. We want to keep you in the organization, but we don't want you to coach anymore. So we're going to give you a job that you can't lose. That's
Can
just
I say
how
that he failed
Ice Cube.
Upwards? Is that a
it's
fair
just
statement?
How Ice Cube was talking about Ricky Smiley. Hey, we thought that you would be a good money Mike. You would be okay, but there's others that are better for the position, and we wanted to give you a job you can't lose. So they promoted him to the front office.
Either way, point is they're getting a new voice on the sidelines. I don't know if it matters. This team sucks. But as you said before, they've been not getting totally blown out recently. Even the Minnesota game yesterday was very close for most of the way through before Minnesota kind of had a good run there in the fourth. But Washington held their own. Utah has really not been great lately. They had the great run, and then they had expectations on them, and then they suddenly lost a couple in a row against decent competition, but still. The Houston loss, you can argue, is a bit troubling because Houston's kind of struggled recently, especially after that loss to Portland last night. But I do think looking at the spot, I think I am going to lean to Utah. I just think Washington actually used a lot of energy in last night's game, and I do think that Utah could really be in a desperate situation for a bounce back, especially after the recent form they've been in. I think it's a good spot for Utah. Yes, I know they have a different coach. Once again, fired, promoted, I don't even know anymore. But the point is the Wizards are a laughing stock and the team sucks. So I'm going to lean to Utah. I know that they're not good on the road. I know typically we don't like to lay points with this team, laying a decent amount, but I do think it's a good spot for them. They were down, like 40 last game to New Orleans? I'm hoping that Hardy can at least get a bounce back effort for pride purposes. You got embarrassed, respond against a bad team. I think Utah's not going to overlook them, and I think Utah's going to win the game comfortably. So I'll lean to Utah on the spot.
I mean, of course, this Utah Jazz team is inevitable, and I'm not going to fade them. But I also don't feel comfortable fading a team that is on the new head coach angle. I mean, I don't like it. And we have Utah here, who is 7-2 as a favorite this year. I'm going to lean that way because, of course, I love playing this Utah team, but I do have a concern of how they're playing defensively over the past 5 games. And it's really hard to lay this number with a team that you just can't trust to get a stop. You look at the last 5 games, they have the worst opponents' points per game 128.8 points per game in the league. That's literally the worst in the league. They're letting teams score easy on them inside of the paint. 25th out of 35, not 35, but 25th out of 30 teams for opponents inside the paint scoring. But the reason that they're so good and they've been able to still win games for the most part, they've been slumping, took 3 straight. But it's really more of the fact that they've been scoring, and they are the highest scoring team over the past 5 games in the league. And it's not relatively close, if we're being honest. So this team continue to put up points. I think this Washington defense is playing slightly better, but still a hole that I think that you can attack on this team. I would like a Utah team total over rather than playing this number. So if I had to pick one bet to place on Utah, I think I'd rather take the team total over bet sitting at 126.5. I think that's a pretty solid bet with just how this Utah team's been able to score offensively, even in these losses, like 153, 124 to New Orleans, 127, 126 to Houston, 129, 120, 134. Yeah, like they're just giving up a bunch of points. But it's also the Pelicans, Houston, not really. That's kind of a really, really bad game. But then you have the Thunder. That's a really high scoring team. They actually held the Pacers in that game. Like so even the Lakers put up 125 on them, but they still scored 132. Like this team has been scoring. And I think that they're playing a bad team. If they don't cover by margin and they let the Wizards just score random points, they're going to at least do the scoring. So I think Utah team total over is probably my better bet for how I would like to back Utah in this game.
Yeah, I don't mind that angle. I'm not exactly trusting Utah's defense. I do think Washington, though, is going to be exhausted on a back-to-back. So I do think that Utah, once again, is in line to win this game. But if they're going to do so, they're probably scoring 125, 130. So I'm not against that.
All right. To do play props.
I'll be on Sexton. No reason for me not to. That guy's been really good, and I don't think Washington can guard anybody. So I think that Sexton, who's aggressive at going to the rim, should be able to get to the free throw line a decent amount. He's good at finishing around the rim, and he's been solid. So give me Sexton overs. I am wondering if there's anybody on Washington I am tempted by, either for an over or an under. Of course, the obvious answer is like a Jordan Poole angle, but I will point out, as you said before, Utah's defense has been really bad, and Poole doesn't realize that he's terrible, so he's going to keep shooting. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like Kuzma can be in line, maybe for like a PRA type game, because even though we think that Washington sucks, Kuzma's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, decent rebounder, and I think that, once again, assists, he can get on occasion. So I don't mind a Kuzma, maybe PRA if you are expecting a higher scoring game, because somebody's going to have to put up stats on this team. But that's basically it. I'll just lean to Sexton mostly.
Yeah, I like Sexton a lot as well. I'm going to back Daniel Gafford here today. Over 10.5 points, minus 110.
Foul trouble's always the issue, but
yeah, it is. But I think that this is more of just him being more aggressive with the easy matchup of this Utah team not really being good inside of the paint and not really defending anything inside the paint. I think that works really well for him. Seeing how over the past 5 games he's one of the, I wouldn't say leading, but when we look at him, he's one of the top points in the paint scorers, scoring 10 points inside of the paint over the past 5 games. Line is at 10.5. If I think you can get 10 easy ones, I'll take my chance with the free throw here or there to be able to push me over. I'm not saying that Gafford's going to have a crazy game, but I think he can, easily over the course of the game finish with 12, 13 points here. So I like Daniel Gafford to have a pretty good game here and be able to score there. You said Sexton.
I like Bagley off the bench. Bagley's been really good lately for Washington.
Yeah.
If he gets enough minutes, his stats have been fantastic.
Yeah, if they don't have Bagley out yet, but I would play Bagley as well. That's another way I would just fade. Because really, maybe he has a harder matchup with Walker Kessler, but inside the paint for this Jazz team kind of just been easy over the course.
But you also get blowout protection, because if the Wizards get killed, then Bagley's going to play all the garbage time minutes in the fourth quarter.
Yep. All right. And Lauri Markkanen rebounds.
Yeah.
Gotta throw that in there. I feel like we should be betting that every time. It's always at like 8.5. I don't know why. Or like 7.5 sometimes. Before we get to the next game of slate, gotta talk to you about Underdog Fantasy Pick'em Scorchers. Come on, you can get a 100x payout with Underdog Fantasy. 100 to 1. That is a crazy payout. Hey, NFL, NBA, NHL, college basketball, college football. Doesn't matter. You can follow your favorite fantasy players and be able to pick their higher or lower on their fantasy stats and win a boatload of cash when you sign up with promo code SGPN. Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. We got that underdog lineup popping up at the end of the show here. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. All right. Let's see here. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. That's the wrong button. Okay. Philadelphia 76ers on the road going to play the Indiana Pacers. 76ers open up -4.5, currently -5.5. 239.5 is the total injury report here. And we have for the, For the 76ers, we had Tobias Harris questionable. Patrick Beverley's not on the injury report. Marcus Morris unlikely to play. Jayden Springer probable. Mo Bamba is out. Kenneth Lofton Jr. out. D'Anthony Melton out. Robert Covington out. And for the Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton is out and Jalen Smith is questionable. All right, no Halley going up against the third best team in the East right now.
Well, we got to start off with a simple question. How good's the encore from Embiid?
I mean, he could do the same thing.
I don't think he's getting 70, but if I told you he dropped 50, I wouldn't be shocked.
Why don't you think he could score 70?
Because I think, unlike the Spurs, I think Indiana is competent enough to double team on occasion and to try to let other people score.
Are you saying that the Indiana Pacers and Rick Carlisle are competent to make defensive adjustments?
After giving up 50, yes. I don't know what the hell Pop was doing last game, but I think that they can send help at some point, maybe after he scores 50. But yeah, I do think at the end of the day, you're looking at the Sixers probably winning this game comfortably. We've seen the Pacers struggle without Halliburton. It's expected. I mean, he's one of the best point guards in the league. He's the main focal point of the offense. And Siakam's gotten there. They've been trying to adjust, but once again, him and Halliburton have not been on the court together that much. If Indiana's allowing the most points in the paint per game, and Embiid's averaging 38 points per game against this team this season, and he's off a 70-piece, and Maxey also had a 50-piece against this team earlier this season, how are you going to get any stops? I just don't know how Indiana's going to stop them. So I'm going to go with the Sixers in this spot. Indiana's been a mess. Once again, not their fault. Halliburton got injured. He'll be out for this game. I got to go with the Sixers here. They've won 6 straight. They've been very good. I just have to back the hot team with probably right now the best regular season player in the league. And I think Embiid might go for 45 again. So just give me Embiid to dominate. Maxey will have a great game too. Indiana's lost on both sides of the ball. Give me the Sixers -5.5.
Indiana last 5 games, 28th in the league in opponents' points inside the paint. Struggling guarding the painting area. You're going to need to do a lot better of that when you're playing Joel Embiid. I think Joel Embiid is a candidate to score 50, 60 points every single night. It just depends if he's going to play the minutes. Is this team going to start killing them so bad that he doesn't have to play anymore? That's really the question mark with Joel Embiid at this point. But I have no worries here. I think he's going to have a big game. We'll see what Indiana is able to do defensively. I really don't think Indiana is bad without Tyrese Halliburton. I think that the system that they run offensively, Andrew Nembhard, CJ McConnell have really stepped up into that backup point guard role and been able to keep the offense rolling. But I think this is a different beast, honestly. I think Philadelphia's defense is going to show up on the road. A little bit competitive game here. Indiana gets up for Philadelphia sometimes. I like them in this spot. Give me the 76ers. Get it done -5.5. 239 is total here. And
is 5.5 a large enough spread to play the drop or no? We need a rule for the drop. What is that, like 7.5 or higher? Maybe.
I mean, I guess it's a chalky play. Just taking Philly on the road, laying points. I think that's just chalky regardless. I don't think there's many people that are backing Indiana right now.
Yeah,
I would like to hear what positive take somebody has for taking Indiana today, which is actually kind of concerning. But yeah,
I see people in the chat asking if it's an Embiid assist game. Maybe it's a pivot. I thought about it. Indiana's really actually decent at preventing assists. They tend to just let star players score a bunch of points, and they just don't really care. So it kind of depends. Because Jokic had a triple-double last game, which I called. Very, very lucky. That 10th assist probably shouldn't have counted, if I'm being honest, but still. I do think Embiid assists are too low. I actually did like the over on that anyway. I think it was at 5.5, and the first 2 games of the season, he had 6 and 7 against Indiana. So I actually did like the assists anyway. I'm not sure it's going to be a full-on triple-double pivot where Embiid ends up with 10, but I do think he ends up with like 35 and 7, 35 and 6. So I don't mind the assist angle for Embiid.
All right.
You asked about
Let's
the total, by the
see.
way. I like the over. I'm not going to take an under if I think that Embiid and the Sixers might score 125, 130. So I think I'm leaning to the over in the game.
Yeah, I like the over. I like
San Antonio scored a bunch of points in that game. It wasn't like Philly. They didn't even cover. Embiid at 70 and they didn't cover because they just gave a bunch of points. So I think Indiana can score enough to send it over.
Philly team total over 122.5. Play that. I like that look. I like Embiid today. I think that who else can have a pretty solid day? I might can get behind Maxey, but really, it's just Philadelphia and Joel Embiid. That's what I feel like is just for certain at this point, especially with how he's playing this year. All right. Where we at? Okay, before we get to the next game, slate, gotta talk to you about Cut, peer-to-peer social betting platform available in 40 states, US based. And guess what? You can bet against your friends in anything. You can bet against sports, politics, pop culture. You can do whatever. Award shows. Do award shows. You can do all of that. Entertainment, all of that. WWE. Hey, I'm telling you right now, CM Punk. Matter of fact, I should go in the cut and I should give people odds. And I will take CM Punk versus the field. I think CM Punk's winning the Royal Rumble.
Or is that plus
And
150?
Yep, plus 150 for CM Punk to win the Royal Rumble. So what would I give people to make it better? I think I should give them like, I don't know. I have to figure it out.
I mean, if you're
Good
doing
thing,
plus 150, then you're probably going to give them like minus 180, minus 190.
something like that. Yeah, y'all can take the field. Y'all can take everybody else because there's no way CM Punk signed back with WWE, not the main event WrestleMania. So CM Punk's winning the Rumble. I'm telling you that right now.
So you really think CM Punk's going to get it done?
No, I am like 100% certain CM
It doesn't matter what you think about CM Punk getting it done. Yeah, sorry, you can keep going. Sorry.
All right. Create your own bets. Cut handles the payment side, all of that. Remember, US based, legal in 40 states. Head over to kutt.com. That's KUTT cut.com and use promo code SGPN to get 10% deposit bonus. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Have the revolutionary parlay optimizer tool. Get everything broken down, hit rates by leg. You can do expected probability, all of that. Stop betting in the dark. Make sure you use something that gives you more intelligent, data-driven bets and parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. And we're brought to you by the merch store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com. We are in a competition with the other shows. Make sure you use that money you made off of the Memphis Grizzlies plus 460 money line last night. 15% off. Promo code playoffs till the end of the month. That means we got about one more week. Make sure you use that till the end of the month. Store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Go buy some NBA Gambling Podcast gear. All right, he said how much for Logan Paul? Logan Paul actually already has a match. He's going up against Kevin Owens. And he's probably going to, well, I would like Kevin Owens.
That's
to win that
for
match,
Continental?
No, US. US title.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the US title. So he's going up against Kevin Owens. But they've been setting it up like he's going to somehow win that game. Like that, not that game. I'm weak. But that match. Because Kevin Owens has like a quote unquote broken hand, whatever the script says. I'm pretty sure it's scripted for Logan Paul to win, which would suck.
I think Logan Paul's like minus 1,000. So yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah, he's probably going to fucking win. Stupid, whatever. All right. Minnesota Timberwolves, back-to-back. On the road. Playing your Brooklyn Nets, Scott. Open up -4. Down to -3.5. 217 is the total. That actually went down a couple points as well. Minnesota don't have anything, but we'll see if Mike Conley plays because he's old and he's a little sick. But for the Brooklyn Nets, we have Cam Johnson, who is questionable, Derek Whitehead out, Ben Simmons out, Darren Sharp out. I mean, I'll ask you, are you taking Brooklyn?
The only part that has me a bit worried is, one, the actual small number, and B, the fact that Minnesota's played a lot of games recently. They had the game against Charlotte where Towns dropped 60 and change. Then they played last night. Fatigue could be an issue. That might be why, traveling East Coast. So it's not exactly the greatest spot for Minnesota. The line really is suggesting that Minnesota is going to lay an egg on the road here. But the Nets can't score. So that's kind of the problem you run into Luckily for the Nets, though, there actually should be some fans in attendance, unlike the Knicks game the other night. But I do think you're looking at a spot where the Nets, I actually might take them tonight. Like, I know it's going to sound like I'm just a Timberwolves hater, but this line is really short. This line is basically daring you to take Minnesota, and I don't fully understand it. I'm going to lean to Brooklyn here. I think it's a spot where the Nets, despite losing last game against the Knicks, they beat the Lakers. They were beating the Clippers for 3 quarters. They were beating the Knicks for about, what, like 44 minutes, 45 minutes? Like, they've been competitive. They just fall apart down the stretch every game. But I have too many questions about Minnesota late in games, too. So it wouldn't shock me if maybe Minnesota sat some guys. We'll see what happens. I think I might actually lean to the Nets here. This line feels ridiculously short, and I think it's trappy. I'm going to lean to the Nets.
Yeah,
I like the under in the game, but I'm going to lean to the Nets.
I'm not getting cute. I can't trust this Nets team in late games.
I don't blame you. This team sucks.
I can't.
But
I can't trust them in late games. If I were to back the Nets, I could only take the Nets early.
First half.
I could only take them in the first quarter, first half line, something like that. I could not trust this team in the fourth quarter with this short of a number because we saw it. We saw it with the Knicks game. They completely botched it. And yes, completely botched it. There's no way. I couldn't do it. I don't know what's going to make me feel like that they just magically turned it on, but I couldn't trust this team able to do it. Maybe they keep this one competitive. If they keep it competitive, I'd rather just take my bet that they get it done in the first half and be done at that point. But I'm not waiting until the fourth quarter hoping that they cover a +3.5 line when they've known to blow fourth quarter leads.
I get it. It's just looking at this line, it looks like the bookmakers are just handing you free money taking Minnesota. And for some reason,
I think what it's saying is that Minnesota's going to have some more outs. Everybody's
that's what
not
I'm
playing
expecting.
That game. Yeah. So maybe no Rudy Gobert. Maybe that's one.
I think Gobert will play. I think Cat might not play because he had 60 and then 27 last night. I think Cat's a prime candidate to sit.
So that's what I'm saying.
Maybe?
No, I mean, probably Mike Conley. We talked about him earlier in the injury report. So I don't think Edwards will sit.
About Mike Conley personally.
I think Edwards is the only one that would actually play. But like, there's a possibility. That's all the line's telling me is that at some point there's going to be some people that are going to be out in this game, and I don't care. I'm still taking Minnesota.
I'll take a stand with my team, but I like the under in the game because I don't trust either team to score late in games.
Yep, I think that's the best play of the day is to take 217. This really might go into a standstill in that second half, but let's see. Looking here, past few games, Brooklyn actually 6th in opponents' points per game, scoring in the past 5 games, 109.2 points per game. You're looking at Minnesota down there at 11, 111.4 pace in this game. Not expecting to see Brooklyn try to run up and down on the court. Actually, Brooklyn is one of the slowest paced teams over the past 5 games. And we'll see if Minnesota is more inclined to run at a quicker pace. They normally run at a pretty faster pace, but this is a back-to-back, so they may be able to play out the half court as well. So I think that this is pace kind of goes towards a little bit towards the under. Both of these defenses have been playing well. Offenses get a little stagnant at times. I can see scoring droughts in this game. Yeah, I'm with you. Under 217. That feels like a really good play for the day.
I think first team to score 105 wins the game. So I'm on the
I'm probably going to bet that under today. All right. Player props.
I don't know who's going to play for Minnesota, so we'll start there. I like Naz Reid in this spot, whether the starting centers play or not, because the Nets don't have a backup center. So if Claxton goes to the bench, or if you end up seeing Cat or Gobert sit, Reid gets promoted, and he probably plays well. So I like Naz Reid props in this game. I think he's in line for a good game. I don't know who's going to play for Minnesota once again, so I'm going to have to pass on the other options. I maybe wouldn't mind a Kyle Anderson play if you are expecting guys to sit, because Anderson, historically speaking, has kind of thrived in the PRA angle if a lot of guys are out of the lineup. So I think Anderson could be worth a look. For the Nets, if I'm picking them to win the game or I'm picking them to hang close, and that means that I'm expecting Bridges to do something, I got to take the unders on Dinwiddie. I just have to do it. He no-showed another game against the Knicks. The only game he actually tried for was against the Lakers because he probably wants to get traded there. So he tried the audition. But no, he's been punting games for the last month and a half. Like I can't take Dinwiddie props overs. I got to go back to the unders with him. But
does Dinwiddie purposely play bad? So Minnesota's like, yeah, nah, we're not interested. We don't want to. We don't.
All I know is the only game he's shown up for the last like month and a half was that Lakers game where he actually played decently. I see people mentioning that Naz Reid from Brooklyn I want just confirmation on that, but that sounds right because he was part of the Jelly fam, right? Initially,
Yeah, let's see.
I think he was. I think Reed was part of the Jelly fam, so I think he actually is from like Brooklyn area. So yeah, that might be a good like homecoming spot for Naz Reid.
I mean, it's just a good spot for him overall.
He's from
Like, I
Jersey,
think that
or he
he's
went to
gonna
high
be able.
school in Roselle.
They
So
don't
yeah,
have a backup center. Like, who's their backup center now? So
they don't have anybody.
yeah, so he should just be able to dominate there. So yeah, I like Naz Reid. I think Naz Reid can
He's
have a
from
really good day
Jersey,
coming off
so
that.
he might have grown up as a Nets fan because they were still in Jersey back then. So maybe it's a homecoming to some degree. But yeah, I think Reed has a good spot.
Yeah, Reid is a good spot. I like Claxton rebounds. I think
Yeah.
Claxton's gonna have a good day, especially if I'm right and we get one of Rudy Gobert or Karl Anthony Towns out in this one. I think it opens up more for Claxton a little bit. So,
Or in
and I'm
general,
not really afraid of
we like the
them.
under. What Claxton have like
Yeah,
17 rebounds against the Knicks? Like if we
yeah,
expect a
and I
rock
don't think
fight,
that
there's gonna be a chance.
I don't think he'll be in foul trouble today either. So I think he'll be all right. All right. Next game on the slate, my New York Knicks welcoming the defending champion Denver Nuggets. Nuggets laying 2.5 in the Garden. 222.5 is the total here. Where are we at? There we go. For the Denver Nuggets, we have Reggie Jackson with a toe, probable. Julian Strawher and Kankar both out as they've been. We've got Isaiah Hartenstein, questionable. We'll see if he plays. And, Mitch Robinson's out. Jalen Brunson over here. Well, Josh Hart, too, apparently. About to get into it with Candace Parker. Oh, man. I mean, you play for the Knicks, man. You got to expect people to talk shit about you. Play for the Knicks.
For the record, I would vote for Brunson over Mitchell this season, but maybe that's just me.
For what?
For the All-Star stuff. I mean, Mitchell's had a great run recently. I think it's close. I'd probably lean to Brunson just based on the consistency.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I wouldn't be mad.
You can argue either way.
I think I would vote for Brunson just because he got screwed last year. He should have got it last year, so I'm making sure he'll get it this year. But like, yeah, I don't.
The guy's thriving in a Thibodeau offense. That's good enough for me. I'll lean to Brunson in that case. But
all right, well, here we are. I'm not taking Denver on the road here.
I'm not either. I like the Knicks in the spot. I feel a lot worse though with Hartenstein potentially sitting. I think he will sit. It's an Achilles issue. That's usually a couple games. I don't think they're going to rush him back. Jericho Sims is going to get killed in this game so badly. Like, I'm trying to think of how Sims doesn't either end up in foul trouble or just struggles entirely. He looked good against the Nets though. Had a decent amount of blocks early. I think he had 4 blocks in the first half. But I do think the under is my favorite play in this game. I got it at 224.5 overnight. Both teams defensively have been very good, and the pace has been non-existent. I believe in the last 10 games, Denver is 25th in pace, and the Knicks are 23rd. So I expect to see a pretty slow half-court style of play for both teams in this game. But I do think Denver on the road, once again, they are a team that's been winning recently, but they didn't cover against, did they cover against Indiana? I don't think they did when Jokic hit that dagger 3, but they let a team with no Halliburton hang around. I think the Knicks are good enough with this crowd atmosphere to get the job done here. I'm going to lean to the Knicks on the money line. I think it's a close game, ugly game, but I will lean to the Knicks to get it done.
That Indiana game was a push.
It was a push. Okay.
It was graded as a push, but depending on where you got the line, some people like same thing as Minnesota Washington yesterday. Some people got the win, some people got the loss, but for the most part, it was a push. I mean, you didn't get up against Washington. You didn't get up against Philly. You only got up against Boston on this road trip, to be honest. Last game, getting ready to head back. I'm back in the Knicks here, man. I think that the defense with OG Anunoby this go round playing against this Denver Nuggets team, I think they're going to throw different looks at them. I think they're going to, and maybe they just concede to, hey, Jokic is going to do majority of the scoring. That's it. We're just going to let Jokic be able to go get his, and then we're going to stop everybody else and slow everybody else down. And we have the defenders that are able to do that. I would really like Hartenstein playing this game just to help on the glass a little bit, but we'll see. Other than that, Knicks team actually been pretty competent against this Denver Nuggets team in the past. I'll take that chance. I like the Knicks plus 2.5 here to get it done. Sprinkle on the money line. This is a good spot for the Knicks, and Denver sluggish. I think they're looking to get back home.
When you say
And they're not good
sprinkle
on the
money
road.
line,
Like at the end of the day, they're not good. Well, not really sprinkle on the money line, but
well, I
like
was
play
going
the
to say,
money
if you
line.
say that, does that mean you actually expect it to land 1 or 2, or you actually do like the money line, but you
No,
just
no,
think
I
there's
like
going
the
to be
money
one
line
set?
play.
Okay.
No, I like the money line play. I mean, I would still take plus 2.5 because some weird things be happening, but like play a little on 2.5, play the money line, or just play the money line, however you figure. But Knicks 11, 7-1 at home, Denver 8, 15-1 on the road. I'm just not. I'm really just fading road Denver. Denver's really not even that good as a favorite. I don't even think they're above 500 as a favorite. I don't think they're above 500 ATS actually.
That wouldn't shock me because, in general, the road numbers are going to take it down dramatically. And
Yeah,
at
no,
home,
they're
they're
not.
laying a bunch of points. So,
Yeah, yeah, they're not. They're not good like as a favorite. They're not good ATS overall. I think this is a good spot for the Knicks just to kind of prove themselves too. Like this is a perfect chance for them to prove themselves that they're one of the best teams in the league by being able to knock off one of the best teams in the league. So yeah,
a
I
part
like
of
the
me
Knicks.
wants to go to this game, even though I've seen Jokic play twice in the last 2 years. And even though I'm not a Knicks fan, it would be a good game to go to in general.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. I think so. You should go. Where are we at? Boston Celtics on the road going to play the Miami Heat. This line opened up -5.5, and as I thought last night, it's up to -7.5. 224.5 is the total. Injury report here for these two teams, and I got for the Boston Celtics. Kristaps Porzingis is not on the injury report. O'Shea Brissett is not on the injury report. Both of them should be playing in the game today. Well, we'll see if Brissett ends up getting in. For the Miami Heat, they're coming off a back-to-back. Probably no Hawkins Jr. I don't know about Kevin Love, but Hawkins Jr. I'm
Are
pretty
we
sure
still
he's
in the
not
league?
ready.
Kevin Love? He's still in the league? Cool.
Yep, officially. Yep.
I got to give
All
him
right.
props. He lasted longer in Miami than Kyle Lowry did. So, Kevin Love's still hanging
We
there.
have the Miami Heat, who are 1-3-1 ATS on the road, not on the road, but on no rest this season. 1-3-1.
I feel like I know
I knew
where
what I
you
was
might
doing.
go,
I knew what I was doing
but
when they lost the game
yeah.
outright. I knew what I was
Mhm.
doing when they lost the game outright. This is when everybody gets pissed off at Miami because they lost outright to a team that they should never lost to, and then nobody's backing them, and then they go into a game that nobody thinks they're going to win, and they win. There's probably going to be some outs on Miami. There's probably going to be some 1 or 2 players that are going to be ruled out before this game, and the line's probably going to grow again, and Miami's going to find a way to cover/win. Like that's what happens. You just Miami at home. I'm not. There's nothing else to talk about this. Miami at home as a dog. I'm taking them plus 7.5.
I wish I can go back in time so I knew that the Heat were playing the Celtics on Thursday, so I could have slammed a bunch of money on Grizzlies money line. I like them to cover. I wish I knew that they were playing the Celtics the day after. That's just on me. I just didn't do enough research on that. That was a slam dunk spot for Memphis anyway, but especially with the game on deck against the Celtics. I think I'm going to agree with you. If Boston wins this game by 15, I wouldn't be shocked either because Miami right now is not playing good basketball, but I've seen this too many times. I mean, I've seen it from Miami too many times. They just no-show a game against a bad team. They look ahead. You think the team sucks, and they show up and the game's close. Like, I've seen it too many times. Plus, you get Spoelstra against Missoula, which is always a fun time if you're going to be getting 7.5. I'm not laying 7.5 with Boston on the road. Of course, they're a good road team. They've lost one home game. I'd rather lay this number with them at home, but I'll lean to Miami. For pride purposes, I'm hoping that they overlooked the Grizzlies last night, and they're going to show up for this game. I think the Celtics win by like 4. Give me a close game. I'll lean to Miami.
Such a Miami script. Such a Miami script. Lose to the Grizzlies, who have nobody playing the day before. Play a full strength Boston team and
Is
keep it
Miami
close.
cooked? Is Jimmy Butler done for? And then they just find a way to like keep this game close against
Yep,
Boston, and then nobody cares.
100%. It happens every time, and this is on national TV. Come on, guys. All right. I don't know if he was able to see this because he's actually on Twitter, but Reverend Father Uncle Ruckus. That's such a funny name. On Twitter asking what does ATS mean against the spread? Against the spread. That is what that means. All right. Player props. Well, total's at 224.5.
It's really tricky though, because if you think Miami's going to actually cover, is that suit a higher scoring game or a lower scoring game? under, and you just hope that Missoula's offense self-destructs in the fourth quarter again? Like, is that the
Miami's
angle?
defense has been really good. Their defense has
And the
been really
offense
good.
could be hit or miss, so probably
Yeah,
under.
that's really what it
Yeah.
is. I mean, look at how the game went last night. 105, 196
Yeah.
loss to Memphis. You put up 96 points on Memphis. Granted, Memphis defense is like very underrated because of all the outs they have. But I mean, 96, 87, 108, 97,
Yeah. There's a
95.
couple ways to get there, because even if
What?
Miami in some
Wait, hold
form
on.
does,
These sound
yeah,
like the 90s scores. Is this really what Miami's been scoring the past 5 games?
it's been rough.
96, 87, 108, 90. What?
The Nets
How do
game
you
went to
take it
overtime,
over?
by the way. The Nets game went to overtime, so they actually had less points in that Nets game. So
How do you have an over?
no,
No
I
way.
think you have to
No
go under.
way.
Couple
Yeah.
ways to get there too, because if we're wrong and Boston kills them, then Miami's still not going to break 100. So there's a couple ways to get this under.
Yeah. I'm all over under here. No way. When's the last time they went 2-8 last 10 games to the under? Well, to the over. So 8-2 to the under, 7-3 to the under for the Boston Celtics in the past. Yeah. I'm not backing this Miami team to score. I didn't realize that the scoring was that bad. I thought these games were spread out a little bit more. I didn't realize these are 5 straight games in a row that they're struggling to get to 100 points. All right.
I'll tell you
Player
right now,
props.
by the way, if the documentary focuses on Jimmy Butler in the regular season, it's going to be the worst documentary segment you've ever seen, because even when he plays, he can barely. He scored 15 against the Grizzlies, 13. Like, but
Do you
Butler's
gotta
taking a
play
nap out
well?
there.
Do you gotta play well to have a good documentary? Because I watched the golf one on Netflix, and there's what's that one guy's name that thinks he's the worst golfer in the freaking world, but he's on the PGA tour. Is it Joel? Is Joel something? Is it
Dahmen?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He thinks he's the worst golfer in the freaking world. And that whole little documentary was just him talking about how much he freaking sucks and how bad he was on tour. And then he somewhere somehow, had a good tournament. And they were like, "Do you believe you're good at golf now? Because you're actually really good at golf. Like you're in the
Jimmy,
PGA tour. Come
yeah,
on."
Jimmy Butler's a great personality. I get all that, but when you're doing a quarterback style documentary mid-season and you're taking naps, when you actually do play games, you drop less than 20 on a regular basis. It's probably not going to be a great showing. They're not going to show much court coverage. I'll put it that way. A lot of behind the scenes stuff with Jimmy Butler. But I do think for this matchup, he better show up for this game. I mean, show the game against Memphis. You better show up for this.
If he plays.
If he plays, yeah, of course.
I
Big
think
if,
that's a very
anytime Butler.
big
Yeah, okay.
that's a very
All right.
big if he
Yeah.
plays.
What happened
But
to
it's like,
finding teams for sitting guys on national TV games? What happened with that? I've seen so many
ooh,
teams sit guys on national TV games, but
oh,
what happened there?
hilarious. They kind of went by the wayside here.
It's tricky to find props with Miami because I don't know who the hell is going to show up and play in this game. I mean, Hero.
Tyler
I
Hero.
know he's probably going to play.
Tyler
I
Hero.
don't know.
That's the easy answer for me. When Jaquez went out, the easy answer was always Tyler Hero.
Give me
When
Bam
Jaquez comes
under
back
in
in,
blocks
under
for a
and
game
blocks.
here. He had
Okay.
6 last game, but the Celtics are allowing the fewest blocks per game because with Porzingis and Horford, all the centers do is just shoot 3-pointers. So they space everybody out. I think Bam's going to have a problem getting blocks in this game. I like the under for blocks with Bam. It's a good sell high spot, too, because he had 6 last game.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't really have nothing else. Sacramento Kings on the road going to play the Golden State Warriors. Warriors played last night, had a very good game. Did a remembrance for the coach that died. Got up, they won the game, which I think Kuminga perfect from the field in that game.
Mm-hmm.
-1.5 is where the line opened up for Sacramento. They're currently -2. 242.5 is the total there. Injury report here for the Sacramento Kings. And Vesikov is out. We have no Chris Paul, no Gary Payton, no Moses Moody. And we'll see what the Warriors do later today if they end up sitting people for this game. But I doubt it because they had
to sit people.
And they had a week off. Like they had a week off and they played that game yesterday. So I don't know. I doubt they sit people, but you never know. It's the NBA. So you got to pick one, Scott. You have to pick one, either the Kings or the Warriors.
I like
know
Golden
that's
State here.
frustrating. Oh, really?
I do. I think it's a good spot. As you said before, they've played one game in about a week. I think emotions will still be running high. They're still at home, so I do think that's going to help out. But I also have to acknowledge the Kings, even though they have, they did win the last game. That was the tournament game where the Warriors blew a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter, I think, or they were up by
Mhm.
like 30. So Golden State has had a lot of success against this team. They have had an issue, once again, blowing games late, but we've seen the Kings have the same issue recently. But the Warriors have kind of owned this team for the last year and change, especially after what happened in the playoffs last year with that, road win by 20 on the in that game 7. I'm going to lean to Golden State. I just think they have Sacramento's number. I'm not going to overreact once again to one choke job by Golden State against this team. The fact remains they were up by 20 and change on the road in the fourth quarter against the Sacramento team. The line feels too short to me. I think the wrong team might be favored here. I'll back Golden State. I think the tragic magic might carry over into another game, at least for the rest of the home trip. But give me the Warriors money line in this game.
4-3 is Golden State ATS at no rest on no rest. 4-3. I do not feel as confident as you. I actually don't want to pick a side of this game at all because
I
I
was
don't
going to
trust
pick a
either
side
one of
one
these
way or another.
teams.
So
I think whoever gets the ball last is going to win. So
you want the points.
it's 2 points. Like,
Yeah.
I guess I'll take the points, but because the last person get the ball. Yeah, neither one of these teams are playing defense, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how I trust either one to win/cover when neither one can get a stop at this point. They're both giving up over 40% from three, towards the bottom of the league from three. They're both towards the bottom of the league in terms of points per game over the past 5 games. They're not playing any quality basketball defensively. So I guess maybe Golden State gets up defensively more with the tragic magic and the head coach, but like I really don't. Both of these teams kind of desperate here. I don't like the side. I don't feel good about the side. The only thing that only look I could play in this game and actually bet is that over 42.5, because I just think that both of these two teams are going to be able to score. And in this rivalry game, we've seen these games have really, really high totals and be able to score sometimes. So yeah, what they went over last time out. I've seen an under. What's this? Another under over. Like, it's up and down, but I think the scoring is going to be a little bit more up in this game, and we're going to see the shooting on the full display here. So I like the over for 242.5. I think that's the play that I would play, and it's a back to back. So back to back overs have been doing pretty well as well. So I'll go ahead and I'll back the over here for this game, but I really, really can't get there on the side. I guess I lean Golden State, but I don't like it. I wouldn't.
For the
I'm not
side, I'll go
touching it.
back to the well. Two mentioned it, but give me each team to trail by 10 and win the game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to reinvent it. Every game that these two teams play is back and forth. So just give me both teams trail by 10, win the game, and I'll try to collect the plus money price at the end.
All right. Like that too. Player props.
I know Curry's points prop has actually been a bit high recently. He's going under a lot. But I am trying to think of which angle I want to go. A part of me is tempted by Fox unders, but I do think he can play well against Golden State. But truth is, Fox has really not been good for the last month, and I am wondering if he's going to snap out of it. Maybe he will.
I'm taking Keegan over 2.5 threes. Plus
okay, I can get behind that.
One plus money for Keegan over 2.5 threes. The guy has the ultimate green light on his team. I can see him coming off pick and roll. If they drop, he's shooting. He's gotten the green light to shoot. I told you both Golden State and the Kings towards the bottom of the league over the past 5 games, giving up over 40% from three. Both of them. I think that this is another spot where Keegan Murray will probably be able to shoot from three. I like Keegan Murray and Malik Monk. I'll take Malik Monk threes as well. Both of those plus money.
And Monk I like in general. I think Monk points is worth a look in this one. I am wondering if I want to actually go with a Sabonis under potentially in this game, but I would just want to see his stats against Golden State this season. The last game he had 9 points, 8 rebounds, 10 assists, 23 points the game prior. He's going to hover around a triple-double. The rebounds have been good, but this year not as much as they have been. So I do think, once again, with Draymond being back in the lineup, we know that Looney has given Sabonis problems in the past. I kind of am wondering if I want a Sabonis under for points here. It's at 20.5. He has gone under in, not including the playoff games. He's gone under this number in 4 of the last 6. I think 20.5 might be a little bit high for Sabonis. I might lean to the under on Sabonis points in this game.
Let's see here. Golden State is 11th in points inside the paint over the past 5 games. So pretty good numbers there. That would back your Sabonis under because that's where he does all of his work inside the paint.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Next game on the slate. We have last game on the slate. Chicago Bulls going up against the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers open up -5.5, currently -4.5. 228.5 is total injury report here for these two teams. And we have Patrick Williams probable, no Zach LaVine, no Torrey Craig. Just take Lonzo's name off, guys. Stop making me look at that. And for the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James questionable, Anthony Davis questionable, Cam Reddish out, no Gabe Vincent.
I could see this going either way, to be honest.
That was wild. Chicago normally plays themselves.
Yeah. They won the first meeting. They did blow a 27 point lead to Phoenix, but they were also leading by 20 plus points in the second half against Phoenix. So you can make an argument that Chicago's actually been pretty good.
They've won 4 of the last 5.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Lakers punted the last game against the Clippers, so I'm assuming that LeBron's going to play because he's sad against the Clippers, so he's probably back in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I want to lay 4.5. Simply put, the Bulls might blow games late, but at least they keep games close. I think the Lakers really don't win easily that often, and I think Chicago can hang in there. I'll go back to Kobe White props. LaVine being out, no reason to reinvent the wheel. He was very good against Phoenix in the last game. So I think that Kobe White PRA might be worth a look in this game. But I'm going to lean to the Bulls. Both these teams we don't exactly think are that good. The Lakers are better, but I don't want to lay points with this team. I'll lean to Chicago, but I do like Kobe White props.
I think that I can't lay points with the Lakers because Chicago's defense has just been so good. And maybe it's because of the level of competition that they played. I mean, they do have, 96 points against Memphis there in the past 5 games. That's probably really, really dragging that total down. But I mean, Toronto 110, the Cavs, even in a loss, 109 for a Cavs team that's been playing really, really well. That Phoenix, they really had Phoenix dead to rights, man. Defensively, they had Phoenix dead to rights.
That's a DeRozan offensive foul was bullshit, by the way. They should have won the game. That was a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
But
So the Lakers 23rd in points inside the paint. Defense, points per game. They're sitting here at 16, decent, not really bad. Was from 3. Better numbers from 3. In terms of defense, better numbers from 3. Chicago's defending 3. Yeah. I'll take the points with Chicago. But should this game, the total has gone up from 223 to 228.5. Is this going over that?
That's what they're suggesting. I don't know if I agree with that, but that's what they assume is going to happen.
Lakers home team pace is going to be on the Lakers side, probably 7th in pace in terms of the last 5 games, 17th for the Chicago Bulls. I don't know if I agree with that line movement.
I don't know if I agree with that either. I probably would lean to the under, but maybe the Lakers run. Who knows? Are you expecting Anthony Davis to have a monster game because it's against Chicago?
3 of the last 5 gone under for the Bulls. The last 3 games straight have gone over for the Lakers. Maybe that's what it is. And I mean, Lakers have had some really high totals, but this Chicago team plays them really tough. If Chicago imposed their will defensively, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I'm going under. I'm going under 228.5 in this one.
Is DeRozan
under 228.5, and I'm taking,
Is DeRozan auditioning for the Lakers?
100%. Well, probably not. It really should be Zach, but
I didn't say he was going to get traded. I'm just wondering if DeRozan tries to, make an impression on the Lakers front office to maybe make a little move.
He's back at the crib. Probably gonna be some family at the game, stuff like that. I can always talk myself into somebody coming home and having a really good game. We talked about it with Nas Reed earlier.
Yeah.
Well, and the question mark for Anthony Davis as well. A little bit concerning, slightly concerning.
I like Kobe White RA at 10.5, which I think is way too low. He was 1 assist away from a triple-double last game. Like, Kobe White's been very good with LaVine being out because the ball's in his hands all the time. But I think you're looking at, once again, his games against the Lakers. He has gone over this number in 3 straight. Had 7 rebounds, 5 assists in the first minute of the season. Dating back to last year, had 11 with 9 assists in there, and he had 13. So he's gone over this number in 3 straight against the Lakers. And based on the total movement, you might see more points than we think there's going to be. Give me Kobe White over for RA at 10.5.
All right. I like Kobe White today as well. Dang, kind of stole my player. I was really prepared to talk about. I was prepared to talk about Kobe White too, but you kind of hit on everything I want to hit on. I was gonna take a PRA though. I
mentioned that earlier, but I saw the RA itself is very solid, so I'll just stick with the RA. Is there a world where DeRozan just ball hogs in California and just takes like 30-something? I don't know, maybe. I'll take the RA.
I think I like Vucevic today. Why do I feel like I played Vucevic against the Lakers and cashed big one time?
I'll check.
Just game log against the Lakers. I feel like I played him against the Lakers once.
I'll look up his game log against the Lakers. Let me just see.
Is there anything recent that I would have? Oh, it must have been that 29-12 game. It had to be that game. It had to be because he doesn't have anything else that was any recent. Yeah, it had to be that.
Unless you had the rebounds or something, because he's had.
But it was the game before. The game before I had him, and he got ejected, and I was pissed. Played him again after, and then it cashed. So I'm not there yet. I may go with Switch again. I'm not there yet. I'm actually kind of been trying to talk myself into betting Andre Drummond coming off the bench recently because I feel like he's a trade candidate. Didn't you hear? No, yeah, and so they said that the Lakers are interested in trading for Drummond as like an an option for Jokic in the playoffs.
Good luck with that. But
I mean, I guess maybe like to battle him on the boards. I hope they don't mean defensively, but like, I guess to challenge him and not let him just get a bunch of easy rebounds. But I thought that was funny that I saw that pop up somewhere that they were talking. There was reportedly, allegedly, the Lakers are interested in Andre Drummond.
Aren't they rumored to get everybody?
Aspect. Yeah.
Name one player the Lakers have not been rumored to get at some point. They're rumored to get everybody.
Zach, DeJounte. Oh no, there was no OG rumors out there. There we go. There's one. Okay. There was no OG rumors out there. That counts. All right. All right. Let's go ahead. Yeah, I don't really got nothing much for that game. I actually really.
The only thing I remember Drummond for, by the way, on the Lakers was him mimicking LeBron's post move, and they didn't win a playoff game after that. That's the only thing I remember from his entire time with the Lakers. He was mimicking LeBron, and they got their ass kicked by Phoenix. That's the only thing I remember from his time in LA.
Oh man. All right. Lock, dog, underdog lineup. For my lock. Miami +8 because the line went up.
Okay.
For sure. Miami +8. For my dog. Let's do a same game parlay with King Brunson. He's got to have a good game after the Candace Parker.
He's had 30 in what? 4 straight? 5 straight?
And then I think it was something like she said that Brunson didn't show up in the playoffs. I really think that she accidentally said Brunson, and she really meant to say Julius Randle.
I think she said that he was very good in the first round, was very bad in the second round. I think that's what she said.
And then he averaged like 30 points. Yeah.
Basically. Randle was terrible in that Miami series.
Well, no, she couldn't have been talking about Randle because Randle was bad in every round. So she couldn't have been talking about Randle. All right. 30 and a win for Brunson.
What does that pay out?
260.
Okay.
Kind of want a little bit more. Kind of want that to be like firmly in 3. Who's really going to stop him though? Like, to be honest, maybe KCP kind of disrupts, but nah, nobody's going to stop him, man. Brunson's having a crazy year. Yeah, give me Brunson 30 and a win plus 260.
All right. So for my lock on the show, I think I actually am going to go back to the last game we talked about. Give me Kobe White RA at 10.5. I'll take the over. He's been really good. Just simply put, he's gone over this number in 3 straight against the Lakers. He almost had a triple-double last game. We've mentioned this time and time again with Levine out of the lineup, back Kobe White. And RA at 10.5 is way too low. I'll take the over there. Let me just quickly see what the best price is for that. I remember being like, I think it was minus 120, I think. Yeah, minus 120 is the line. So give me the over. He's gone over that number in 7 of the last 10 as well. So that's going to be my lock. For my dog, I think I might just go with the most basic thing you possibly think of. I'm looking at Embiid 35 and a win. If I could just see what that'll pay out. I might just go to it, honestly. Like, I don't think Indiana's going to win the game. But I do think that, once again, Philly's going to get the job done here. It's not a big enough price, though. Do I want to go for 40? Do I want to tempt fate and go for 40? Let me just quickly, sorry, I'm just
who's going to stop him? Like, who's going to stop him? Be for real.
Yeah, I know, but the problem is I can get 36.5 and a money line at, like, plus, no, why am I going with the money line? I can probably just take a spread if I want to. I think I'll do that instead. I'm going to go with Philly to get the job done. I'll take a minus 2.5 in a same-game parlay, and I'll parlay that with Embiid to go for over 36.5 points. He had 70 last game. Indiana, I said before, isn't great at actually forcing assists, so I do think they're going to let Embiid get his. But simply put, you're looking at a guy against the team that's allowing the most points in the paint in the entire league by a pretty decent margin. And I don't think that Indiana can do anything about it. So I think that Embiid will have a nice encore. He's not going to drop 70, maybe 40, but he's gone over 35 in each of the first 2 meetings this season. And I think that is good enough for me. If I do take Philly minus the 2.5 and I throw in Embiid for 35 plus, that pays out at, sorry, just pulling it up. Yeah, it's about plus 140, give or take. That's good enough for me. So I'll take that. Give me the Sixers minus 2.5 and Embiid 36.5 points over. And that pays out at about plus 140.
All right. JR, aren't you in Canada? I feel like anybody in Canada can't call LeBron LeBarbie. LeBron owns Canada, like the entire
It sounds
state.
better than LeBoppenheimer. So I guess you got to go with LeBarbie.
All right, man. Underdog lineup. I got Kobe White higher, 11.5 points and rebound, not points and rebounds and assists. I'm sorry, 11. So higher than 11 rebounds and assists. I have Jalen Brunson higher, 28.5 points, and Joel Embiid higher, 36.5 points.
That's fine with
Sounds good. All right, there we go. 6-1 for the underdog lineup. $50 gets you $300 on that lineup. Make sure you use that promo code SGPN to get 100% deposit bonus up to $100. Scott, anything else for people before we get up out of here?
No, not really. Once again, hopefully Embiid goes nuts. Hopefully that parlay cashes, but let's go Kobe White. And let's have some fun.
All right.
By the way, we got the NFL show. We got the AFC title game coming up.
We'll do that tonight. Yeah, we'll do that tonight.
And I got tennis in about 2 hours for a live stream. So
there you go. Make sure you tap in live on YouTube for Scott and the Tennis Gambling Podcast. 73 people in the video right now. Let's get likes in the youtube.com/NBA Gambling Podcast if you're not on there now. And for everybody that's on there via podcast version, 5-star rating and review, please. 5-star rating and review. Other than that, I have nothing else to say. Nothing else to do. No other way of ending podcast. Just going to like this. LeBron James owns the Raptors. We're out here.